Welcome to the Points in the Paint podcast, everybody. Ben Wittenstein.
Zach Badger House, always in the house. Ben, what's up, man?
Doing well. Lots of basketball this weekend. College basketball, NBA. It was hoops entirely for me. I didn't leave the house on Sunday. I was watching so much basketball. It was bad. I didn't shower. Smelled bad. But I watched a lot of basketball, so it was good.
As long as you watch a lot of basketball, whether it's pro or college, because you know college is real madness right now. A lot of madness going on.
Yeah.
But the NBA is only heating up for the better as we get closer and closer to these NBA playoffs. There's a lot of movement going on in the standings in both the East and the West. So let's tell the people where we can get the podcast.
Excited. Yeah, you can get it wherever you find us, wherever you find podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter at Points Paint, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher,
Google
Podcasts. We're everywhere, man. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you get your videos. And I don't know if you saw this. The NBA tweeted this is historic season-wise. 26 teams are still in the playoff race.
Yep, there hasn't been
this late into the season.
Yeah, it hasn't been this many teams that have clinched so far throughout the season. I believe the Bucks and the Nuggets and the Sixers may have all clinched their playoff spots, but I believe that is all. There may be some more. Maybe Memphis Grizzlies probably clinched theirs, but outside of that, there hasn't been too many teams that have clinched a playoff spot. Cavaliers, they clinched theirs yesterday. I do remember that. They clinched theirs last night.
Honestly, good for the Cavs. They're going to be a fun team, and I think we should talk more about them later on down the road because they're going to be a fun, sneaky team. Not a lot of people talk about them.
Push a series.
Yeah, so I think it'll be fun. Yeah, Cavs doing a good job, but the big thing that we wanted to talk about as we get into one big thing for the pod, Zach, is the MVP race.
Yeah.
Because the thing with the MVP race is if we talked to us, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was all Jokic.
Your son.
Nikola Jokic. My boy, my child, little Michelin man, Nikola Jokic.
It was his to lose.
It was his to lose. And guess what? He maybe lost it.
Yeah,
he may have lost the MVP race because you got guys like Joel Embiid making a run with the Sixers making a run in the East. You even got guys like Giannis, who I think people have voter fatigue with Giannis a little bit because of how well he has done and how many MVPs he's won so far. But he's had an amazing season this year, too.
Yep.
So you have this race that was all Nikola Jokic for months. Embiid sneaking up from behind. Giannis has just kind of been there. He's just been dominant all season long, and not a lot of people are talking about it. And you have the Bucks, who are number one in the East. So we now have kind of a three-guy race. We have the Nuggets, and we have the 76ers playing on Monday night.
Yep.
MVP race on the line in one game, Zach?
I think so. It has to
be,
right?
Just one game, and this is gonna be it.
The head-to-head matchup, I believe, should matter. Wouldn't you agree with that? Wouldn't you say that it matters to win the head-to-head matchup? Because the last time these two individuals played, Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, last time they faced off, my man's Joel Embiid for sure had the 46-piece wing dinner hold the fries and got the win over the Denver Nuggets. Now, I think there should be some get back on Nikola Jokic's side to want to win this game to prove that he deserves a third MVP. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think people are going to put a lot of emphasis on this game like you did. And I think a lot of people are going to put a lot of stock in it. I don't think that's the right way to go.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't think that's the right way to go. I think you have to look at the entire season. I think you have to look at what they do down the stretch of the season.
It's been so tight, though.
Matchup on matchup is great, but it's one game.
It's one game.
One game down the stretch.
But think about it for a second. How tight is this race for you, would you say, right? Both teams are playing very well. You look at the East standings. The Sixers are currently, the 2 seed, the 3 seed. They're trying to become the 2 seed. They've fallen, lost 4 games in a row this past week. They've struggled on the road. So this is a true road test for them in Denver for that game on Monday night. So we're going to see what happens for Joel Embiid if they can get this dub and secure an MVP trophy because it's a head-to-head matchup.
It is. And I think you should be taking that into account.
Yes. There's a but.
But I mean, think about this. Think about this.
Okay.
No, think about this. 76ers, because this might not be in favor of Embiid. 76ers are on the tail end of a 5-game road trip out west.
Yes.
They're going to be tired. There's some guys might be questionable, may not be playing. If the 76ers get blown out in Denver, Embiid doesn't play well, all right, it looks great for Jokic, but then you look at the context, 5-game road trip, back-to-backs, on the road in Denver, tough place to play at elevation. You're saying no, you're not going to use that as an excuse at all.
No excuses
so
at all.
Jokic gets a triple-double, Embiid goes for 27 points, 7 rebounds, 76ers get blown out.
Nikola Jokic, it's your trophy.
Really?
It's your trophy, yes, because the head-to-head matchup, it has to matter.
Write that down.
It got to matter. If Nikola Jokic goes out there and he outperforms Joel Embiid or vice versa, then I believe, yes, that person should be hosting the trophy come the second round of the NBA playoffs.
Does it matter who wins to you?
I think it does matter who wins because
even if both have a triple-double, say, but it's like a 5-point game. Nuggets win by 5. Is that going to change your opinion?
If it's a tight game, because I think the eye test will matter in this game. So if they both play well and Denver wins the game, I probably still lean towards Nikola Jokic. Now, if Nikola Jokic plays bad and the Denver Nuggets win and they won the game because our boy MPJ went off or Jamal Murray went off, then that may be different, right? Then I may have to go, okay, well, we may have to see what happened on the box score on the other side. Now, if we got Joel out here with another 40-point plus performance that he had against the Warriors and they lost the game, then maybe I could say, okay, he did his job. Where were you at, James Harden, Tobias, and the crew?
Right. I think that's a really good point. I just think that you look at one game and people are going to magnify this game.
It has to be magnified. It's so tight. MVP race is so tight, right?
It is. Yeah.
Is it not tight?
It is. And my thinking is here, if it's going to be this tight between Giannis and Jokic and Embiid, it's probably going to go to Embiid because we know in the NBA, storylines matter, especially for the MVP race. And if a guy has never won it before, you have a guy who's won it twice in a row. You have Giannis who's won it a few times. It's going to go to Embiid. It's going to go to Embiid. You're going to give it to the guy who made a run at the end of the season.
Yep.
His team is vying for a top 2 spot in the East.
Yep.
They have lost 2 in a row as of this recording. So if they fall a little bit more by the end of the season, that might hurt Embiid too if they start losing.
But that's why I was questioning too, Ben, is the fact that, okay, they were on a little hot streak. We talked about it last week. But then they simmered down. They cooled down when they went on this road trip.
Sure.
They lost a few games. They lost 4 in a row. And so it's like, all right, what's going to happen with this next matchup? Because it's going to be key. It's going to be pivotal. This is a road game, like you mentioned, for the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Nuggets. Do you win this game in handle fashion, and get the dub and secure the MVP trophy if you're Joel Embiid? And I got questions for you.
Yeah.
Is there pressure? Now, I sent you that quote. Is there true pressure on your boy to make the Western Conference Finals, to make it to the NBA Finals, if you're Nikola Jokic, going to be potentially maybe a 3-time season MVP, man?
Absolutely. And I'm on this boat too. If Jokic does not make the finals, let alone if he doesn't make the finals with this team, with the way they've been playing all season long, I'm going to have serious beef with him. Right? Yeah, the way he's been playing, triple doubles left and right in the MVP race, number 1 in the MVP race for months, and then his team, hopefully, as long as they're fully healthy, goes into the playoffs and they don't make, at the very minimum, Western Conference Finals. But I think this is a finals team, and it should be a finals team. If they do not make the finals, I can't protect my little doughy son anymore. I can't protect Jokic because he's going to deserve all of the clowning that he gets for not making the finals, because he's had some time. He's had injuries. He had Jamal be out for the year. He's had issues with Michael Porter Jr. He's not had a great supporting cast at times. So he's always had these excuses to not make the finals. If everyone's healthy, he's got a good team around him. I don't think he has these excuses anymore. When he's playing at an MVP level, my guy's got to make the finals. He just has to make the finals. And I'm going to be off the boat of his fandom I'm going to start clowning him. I'm going to have to.
All right.
Because I've been wanting him to make the finals, first of all, and I think he should be making the finals. But, man, especially if he's like a second round out.
That's tough.
Boy, that's tough.
Listen, depending on who gets this play-in game, they may get put out in the first round with whoever's that 8th seed. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Yeah, that's the problem. You look at the West, what if it's like the Pelicans or the Timberwolves? If they can get a run for the money.
I don't think they should ever beat the Nuggets in a 4 out of 7.
Lakers with a healthy LeBron, though?
You know I'm rolling with the LA Lakers to beat the Denver Nuggets if they are the 8th seed.
You think so?
Yes. If they are the 8th seed, I got a healthy LeBron, I got a healthy Anthony Davis, and the rest of that crew, and I got a Jared Vanderbilt that can put Jamal Murray in a straight jacket for a 7-game series.
Thomas Bryant revenge game, though.
Oh, my God.
Thomas Bryant revenge series.
None of that.
It's going to happen. TB coming back.
He got to get some time. He got to get on the floor. I feel like they don't play him enough since he's acquired over there. So. I don't think he's lived up to what they expected him to live up to, unfortunately. But that is one of the only series in the first round that I would be worried about for the Nuggets. If they get the Lakers and they get them as the 8th seed, they have to go to LA. It's going 7.
That's tough. It's probably going 7. You get a healthy LeBron in the playoffs again. Anthony Davis, I don't know. He's never healthy, so I'm not going to say a fully healthy
That's
Anthony
fine,
Davis.
day to day.
But an Anthony Davis that can somehow get his butt on the court and play, that's
Mhm.
dangerous. When you have him and LeBron, you have D'Lo, who I think is a pretty good fit so far for the Lakers.
Yep.
That's a dangerous matchup for the Nuggets. I would be a little bit worried, especially since they can at times have games or stretches where they look completely incompetent,
Which
and especially
team?
their bench.
Now, which team you feel like has more pressure, or which player you feel has more pressure, Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, this season in particular?
Probably Jokic.
Now, I'm gonna ask you this
Probably
question.
Jokic.
It's probably Nikola Jokic, and I would agree with you with that. Now, would you say that because of who the coach is for the Sixers, and Doc Rivers being a guy who's blown a few leads in the playoffs?
I would say no. I think the pressure is more on Jokic because of the standards that he has set
For himself?
for himself and his team. I mean,
Okay.
when you're an MVP candidate like this on a team this good, and you've been number one in the Western Conference for most of the season, and you don't at least get to the conference finals, that's not good. That's not good. You're going to get made fun of. You're going to get clowned. It's not going to be a good look for the resume. And I think that there is more pressure on the Nuggets because of how close they have gotten in the past.
Yep.
They've almost gotten to the promised land, and they just can't quite do it. Something goes wrong. Jamal gets hurt. Michael Porter Jr. doesn't come through. They get a really bad matchup. They have some bad bounces. You know, whatever it is for the Nuggets, they just can't get lucky sometimes. And I think eventually they're going to have to figure it out until people start making fun of them. So I think that's why the pressure is more on the Nuggets. With Embiid, I don't know. How much pressure do you really feel like is on to the 76ers? I don't think it's a ton. I don't think people have super high expectations for them at the moment.
I feel like with the way the league is set up in the East, particularly like the Eastern Conference, and we know the Bucks is probably the favorite to come out of the East, and then the Celtics. So yes, when you say it like that, the Philadelphia 76ers are probably the third favorable team to come out of that conference. So it may not be high expectations, but you got a guy like Joel Embiid,
Right,
who's leading the league in scoring. You know, he's trying to move them up in the standings, trying to get to that 2 seed, but they failed. They're slipping a little bit. There's just been talk about him. Will he ever win MVP again? Well, will he ever win MVP in general?
right.
So when you have all that going on, then you obviously, like I said before, Doc Rivers, he's blown leads. Will they ever make it out past the second round? Maybe a little pressure on Joel Embiid, but I think I would agree with you in terms of like Nikola Jokic probably has the more pressure because he's back-to-back MVP final, you know what I'm saying? May win a third. So you have all that going on for yourself in Nikola Jokic. It probably is more pressure on him than Embiid.
It'll be interesting. I think this game, people are going to put a lot of weight on this game, and they're going to really make their decision based on this game. Maybe voters will too. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what the reaction to this game is. I'm more excited for the reaction than anything else. Should we move on?
Mm-hmm.
What's the worry, Zach?
You got to tell me.
Move on. What is
Jalen
the
Ramsey
worry?
Said, you tell me. What's your worry level? Because your boy,
yeah,
your other boy, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying, your nephew, if you will. I'm gonna just call him your nephew for now. Luka Doncic, the Don. They slipping, man. They didn't fall into the sunken place. I know you've seen Get Out before. They're in the sunken place right now.
They really are in the sunken place. It's not a good look for the Dallas Mavericks. And Luka came out, and he looks about as sad and depressed as I have seen him in the NBA.
I think he even talked about it, too, in some of the press conferences. Like, he's not having fun right now. I believe he said that.
And I know, I think he mentioned stuff going on off the court that's been affecting him, which hopefully he gets that figured out and everything gets arranged for him. But, man, on the court, it doesn't look like he's having fun. The Mavericks aren't having fun. The Mavericks are really bad. Losing to the Hornets twice in a row in the same weekend, back to back.
Not okay.
The worry level for me with the Mavs is high. It's high. It's 9 out of 10, something like that. I don't know where to go. If Luka's not playing up to his best, if he's not fully healthy either, Kyrie is only so much he can do with the roster that they have. Their defense is atrocious.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like, they've normally been good defensively, like in like moments past, like especially last year in particular. Like, they were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You fast forward this year, they're kind of average,
yep,
just in the middle of the pack probably. And then the eye test show you that they play such a slow pace that, like, if you can get them to move and get the pace up, the tempo up in the game, that they'll probably crumble defensively, the Mavericks. So
no, the Mavs are they're a mess. They're just a mess. They can't. The players are everywhere. The coaching's not great. The play on the court defensively is awful. They're losing against bad teams. I don't know what the full issue is, and you would think it's Luka's job to get everything in line. but he's struggling. And Kyrie, I don't know what Kyrie's doing. He clearly isn't helping the team at all. So I don't know. I don't know where the Mavericks go from here, to be honest. They've been really disappointing since getting Kyrie.
Well,
they're now 11th.
Yes, they are. So they've fallen out of the play-in.
Lost 4 in a row as of this recording.
They're 3 games below 500. Yes.
Yep.
But I will give you a little numbers, right?
Okay.
So when they both play, they're 3-8. It's not good, right?
Yeah, it's not good. No, it's not good.
When neither one of them play, they're 2-9. Now, when Kyrie plays, it's just him. 3-1. That's a small sample size. I know it's only 4 games. I know, it's only 4 games.
Yep.
They're 7 games above 500 when it's just Luka.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what those numbers do for you, but when they both play, at least the small sample size, they're 3-8.
This is why I looked at the trade initially and I said, what are they doing? Why did they think it was a good idea to trade for Kyrie? I will never know. I don't
for
think
half a season.
Yeah, I don't think for half a season for 2 guys that clearly can't work together on the court well. Like they want to try. It's not like they dislike each other, but their style of plays just clearly don't fit.
They're both ball dominant.
Yeah, the team just doesn't operate as well when they're both on the court as the numbers show. When one's by themselves, they're good. That makes sense. So I don't really know why the Mavs did that in the first place. I think they are now realizing that was probably a bad decision to have them both paired up in the backcourt as teammates. But now they kind of have to reap what they sow, and they made their bed. Now they have to sleep in it, and I don't really know what they do from here. They're going to be hopefully playing in a play-in game. They're on the outside looking in. They're 1 game back of the Thunder for the 10th spot.
Right.
If the Mavs do not make the playoffs, that would be unbelievable to me.
I don't know if it's going to be that extreme. So I can already tell, like, your worry level's high.
It is.
My worry level isn't that high because my expectations for the Dallas Mavericks aren't that high either.
Really?
So
interesting.
My worry level would probably only be like a 6, maybe a 7
with
the Dallas Mavs because, Kyrie's probably not going to stay long term. And we already knew that.
Right.
So that's a half a season rental, like the situation in Toronto with Kawhi Leonard. Okay, fine. So you want to make the best of that situation. The Mavericks did what last season? They made the Western Conference Finals. A lot of people expected them to keep that momentum going and see what they can do. I knew that they would take a step back because the chips just fell where they made
got
last
lucky
season in the playoffs. They got lucky.
Little regression happening. Yeah,
I think the regression is definitely, you definitely see it. You look at the roster, right? I was looking at the roster, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the Dallas Mavericks roster, you could just you tell me who's going to get their own shot, not named Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving. Maybe a Christian Wood. That's it.
It's not good.
You want Tim Hardaway to be able to go out there and do that. He doesn't.
And he's been hurt too, which doesn't help offensively. Defensively, it's fine if he's out.
Right.
He might as well just be out when he's in for defense.
Exactly.
But it's definitely a team that has issues. Over their last 10, they're the bottom of the barrel in the NBA. They're one of the top 10 worst teams in the NBA in net rating. Their defense is all over the place, terrible. They're not really scoring offensively. You should not be losing to the Hornets 2 games in a row.
That's a team that's tanking for Wembayama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous.
They do not want to win, and then they beat you twice in a row. Then you want to win. It's, man, I don't understand. It truly is unbelievable to me for them. So my worry level's pretty high. I would say 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not expecting too much from them. So I would probably say out of a 10, it'd probably be like a 6. Now, that's only because of the way the roster is constructed and 2 guys who are ball dominant. They need the ball. But then the other 3 guys who are on the court with them, Ben, you watch the games, they don't make any impact. Like Bertans, make your corner threes. Like, that's what you get paid to do.
Mm-hmm.
Make your shots. Reggie Bullock, make your wide open shots. A lot of guys just missing wide open shots. They're just not consistent for the Mavs on the offensive side either. So
maybe they'll get hot for the playoffs. Maybe that's the thing. That's what happened last year. They got hot, make their shots. That'll happen. What is trending in the NBA? We got some things trending, of course, as we always do.
Yeah, on the East Coast.
So let's go East. What's trending in the East?
The bottom of that Eastern Conference being 6 through 10. Your boys is in the mix. The Chicago Bulls are in the mix.
Yeah.
But 6 through 10 being is hot. Hotter than lava. It's heating up. Remember I told you the Brooklyn Nets a few weeks ago. They're still going to make the playoffs even without Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I still believe that. And I don't know, Ben, if they're going to stay out of the play-in. I'm getting a little worried. Remember, I want Miami in the play-in, so they only got 1 game and they can be eliminated. And I don't want them in the playoffs. Remember, I told you before, I don't want the Heat in the playoffs.
Right.
The Nets, they're tied currently for the 6th spot with the Heat at 40 and 35 as we record this podcast. So I'm a little concerned with the Nets and whether or not they're going to stay out of that play-in scenario. But it's pretty hot down there in the East and at the bottom.
The Heat almost concerned me more than the Nets, to be quite honest. I mean, they played the Nets Friday, I believe.
Yep.
It was late in the week. They were 6-point favorite, and they got blown out. They might as well have been in the bottom of the barrel in the Eastern Conference, and they got completely blown out by the Nets. They lost by 20-something.
Ridiculous.
The Heat are... I don't think they can sustain a 7-game series, to be quite honest. They'll have a game or two where they look really good, probably
Right.
at home. They look
But
good.
you never know, though. Playoff Jimmy, that is a thing.
Well,
I
is
know.
it?
Look, you
Is
did that.
it?
I'm with you with that. I feel you. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Is it a thing? Like, I just don't. I would have a lot more fun watching the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs, to be
Me
quite
too.
honest. I think they're a really fun team. Mikal
Yeah.
Bridges, I think, is going to be a super fun playoff player.
He's going to emerge, I believe,
Mhm.
into a star. Remember how we kind of saw Devin Booker's always been a guy who can put the ball in the rim.
Yes.
Always. He was just never on winning teams those first few years with Phoenix. I think Mikal Bridges is going to turn a corner and turn a page come playoff time. If they can get a full 7-game series, I think we see some flashes of like some stardom from Mikal Bridges.
Ooh,
I really do.
I like it. I do like it. I think this Brooklyn team's going up. They're
They are
going up.
going up.
Yeah, they're going up.
They are
They
going up.
got the young guys. They made the right trades to get some young players. They got some good draft picks. They're going to be good. And for them to get the playoff experience right now, too, is really important.
Gotta keep
I
that
would
sixth
almost say
spot.
just get in the playing game so you can get the pressure. Get those guys the
want them
pressure.
to
Feel
have
the pressure.
though. I don't want
'Cause
them
then-
because they might fold.
You
You know what I'm
think
saying?
so?
This inexperienced team to go in there. That one game that they have to win.
Yeah.
I don't really want that for the Brooklyn Nets. I do want it for Miami, though. I definitely want it. For
Oh,
Miami.
yeah. I want to see Miami. Miami losing in the playing game, 2 playing games in a row, if they're 7-8, oh, that'd be the best. I'd be so happy.
My question for you is with the Chicago Bulls, right?
Mhm.
And just in general, in terms of the playing scenario, does home court matter in playing?
Yes.
Think it matters?
Oh, 100%. And I think specifically this year, if you look at all of these teams' home records versus visiting records, they are eons better at home than they are on the road. I mean, take the Bulls. They're 20-17 at home, 16-21 on the road.
Yep.
The Raptors,
Are
25
9 games above 500 at home.
They've only won 12 games on the road this year. Like, come on, guys. What are we doing? These are professionals, and they somehow cannot win on the road. The Heat, same way. 15 games they've only won on the road this season out of 36. So they're below 500.
Now, who needs home court out of those 4 teams? The Heat, the Hawks, the Raptors, and the Bulls.
The
currently in the
Raptors.
playoff. They needed the most, right?
Yeah,
So
the Raptors.
So which team are you more confident in winning that game, playing game? We got to look at the scenario right now with the Bulls and the Raptors. The Bulls would have to travel to Toronto.
I'd be worried about that.
Okay.
I'd be very worried about that. I would be extremely worried about that for the Bulls, to be quite honest. I don't think they're a very good visiting team. Playing in Toronto is incredibly hard, as we saw when Kawhi was there and making runs in the playoffs.
Yep.
I think if anyone does go up to Toronto, that's going to be a very tough game to
So the
win,
Bulls need to
especially out of
move up
those
in the
4.
standings.
Because of how bad they are on the road, too. You get the Heat going up to Toronto, good luck. Good luck to Miami. Maybe Kyle Lowry becomes healthy and has a revenge game, but
Maybe. And I like
the
that
chances of
narrative.
come on. Chances of that are not great.
Slim to none.
Yeah, but the tail end of the East is something to watch out for, and we'll be talking a lot about that probably next week
Yeah,
once
I
we
wanna
really
see-
get
I
a
wanna see
feeling.
your Bulls. I told you they're gonna make the playoffs. I already told you that.
The
Bulls are making the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they've played a lot better with Pat Bev.
7-3, last 10.
Love it. Love it. It's the best.
It is. It really is.
All right, let's see what we have to hear from some of our listeners on the hotline.
On the hotline.
On the
773-273-9088. Text message, voicemail line.
Yep.
That's all you got to do. At Points Paint on all the socials. You can
Mhm.
get us at Twitter. You can get us at
Do it.
Facebook, Instagram. You can chime in on Watch Stadium if you see our lovely faces on the videos.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can comment there on TikTok. Wherever you can find us, that's where we're going to be at.
Absolutely. So, Neil Hayes
In Michigan.
in Michigan. Nobody wants to give De'Aaron Fox his credit.
How you feel about that? You think the media is giving him enough attention? National media is giving De'Aaron Fox enough attention? You think he deserves a top 5 MVP conversation? All NBA conversation? These are the
All
type of
NBA.
These are the type of conversations I'm referring to in terms of not getting enough credit, the awards and everything else of that nature. You think he's getting enough love for this team, what they've done?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not as much as he should, but I think that's because he's in Sacramento. I don't think that helps that he's in the wasteland of the NBA up in Sacramento.
Right.
And I think the first thing people think of when they think the Kings isn't Sabonis, it's not Fox, it's not anyone except the Beam. That's all they think about is like the Beam, which is awesome. And it's the coolest thing in the NBA, but that kind of hurts their players because that's people don't know their players as much. They just know the beam. So I think you look at someone like Fox, you look at someone like Sabonis, who've really done a fantastic job on that team, Malik Monk. You know, they have a team full of really fun guys. They're not getting the recognition they deserve, especially with the way they've been playing. Once the playoffs start, I think De'Aaron Fox is going to get his flowers.
No,
but right now he's not.
Currently, recording of this podcast, 45 wins for the Kings. Do they reach 50 wins for the first time since the 05-06 season?
Absolutely. Why? They should absolutely go for it. I don't know why they're not, but they should absolutely go for it. They're the third best team in the West.
Yep.
So most of the teams they play are going to be worse than them.
Yep.
They play the Trailblazers twice. They play the Spurs.
I got some bottom feeders for sure.
Yeah, they play the Mavs, who aren't playing very well.
Portland's talking about shutting down Dame too. These final 9 games of the season 2.
And they need to win 5 out of the last 8. I think they do it.
Nice.
I think they do it.
Nice. So the Kings may possibly get 50 wins.
And then people will hear about De'Aaron Fox.
Yep. And then people hear about De'Aaron Fox. And I love it. So hopefully he gets all NBA. He makes those teams. And we'll see, right? So that's going to conclude this edition of Points in the Paint podcast. I am Zach Badgerhouse. That was my main man, Ben Wittenstein. You can follow us on our social handles, respectively, of course. Check out Shams on ITA Twitter with Cam Smith and our boy Pat Garrity. Listen to Sharp Lessons with my main man, Ben Wittenstein, and my boy Nate Jacobson, giving you all the betting tips from the professor. That's what y'all call him, right?
Professor Nate.
Professor Nate. Baby.
Taking people to school.
Taking them to school with them betting wagers and everything. So I love it. And you will hear from us next week.